Hey everyone, Chris Palomarez here with the FreeMo layout in Salt Lake City, Utah at the National Convention. I'm really excited to say that this is the 25th anniversary of the San Luis Obispo Monroe Club's first setup at the San Luis Obispo Library. That was the first FreeMo setup that we've ever did, and we're here with a bunch of other modular groups from all over the nation and even Canada. So come on, join me. I want to show you a few things on the layout. This is a great overview of what FreeMo is. It's typically a single track centered on a 2-foot end, and the idea is to let the scenery dictate the flow of the track. We're not a closed loop system, so that means everything is open. We can have modules of any length, any dimension, any curvature, as long as it comes back to a common end, which is the centered single track on the 2-foot end. And this is also a good sort of representation of what FreeMo can be. These modules are from Oklahoma. These modules are from Southern California. These modules are from Canada. And those modules are from Northern California. All combined together seamlessly. We can run trains and just enjoy model railroading. The nice thing too is these layouts are different every time we set up. Another aspect of FreeMo is you can throw turnouts from either side of the module, and by doing that, we use tortoise switch machines and double pull, double throw, push button switches, just wired in a series from each other. So if you look over here, you can throw the turnout from this angle, but you can also find another push button on the other side, throwing that exact turnout. This is the first FreeMo module ever constructed. This was built back in about early 1994 by Art Armstrong. This module was recently rehabilitated and brought up to current specs by Jeff, Bob, Tim Runnell out in San Luis Obispo, and Jeff Parker actually did a lot of refining to the roadbed. He built some custom bridges for it, including the prototype. This represents Piru, California, down over in Santa Clarita Valley. So FreeMo uses a proprietary technology developed by other FreeMo modelers. Particularly Greg Furman developed the system where we can have a modular signaling system where it's an open-ended format for signaling too. What we do on one module will affect another one, and it's completely interchangeable. There's no computer to set up, and it's just plug and play. So originally FreeMo started off as a way to add on to the conventional NMRA modular standard, which was an offset double track standard. What happened is the San Luis Obispo Monroe Club experienced a growth where we moved into a permanent spot. We wanted to make a modular layout a little bit more fun and a little bit more engaging to operate. So we developed FreeMo to kind of augment the double track mainline system. And this is one of the original modules from that time period. This was constructed by Art Armstrong originally and then rehabilitated by the three guys mentioned before, Tim Runnell, Bob Schremp, Chad, also Jeff Parker too. They all played an instrumental part just bringing this back up to FreeMo standards. And it kind of follows the original theme that Art laid out. This is kind of a Southern California, Central California sort of nondescript location, but just following some railroad-specific Southern Pacific practices. This is kind of where it all started.
My name is Jerry Bill, and I'm a FreeMo modeler, and I'd like to take some time and explain to you about FreeMo and what we do. If you can see here on this chart, it shows you our layout, and we do a CAD design drawing once we know who can attend the event and what modules they have, and then we build a layout based on the available space. So it's fairly straightforward in terms of how we set it up. We know who's coming, we know what their modules are, and we also know the space available. When we get here, everybody sets up their modules and then stands them on the legs, and then we basically put them roughly where they belong, and we start putting them all together. We start with a Keystone Module. A Keystone Module is a module in the center of the layout where we use that as a base to start our leveling of all the modules, and we use a laser level to level everything so that everything is at 50 inches high from the top of the rail to the floor. And a lot of times, in fact always, these facilities, the floors are not level. Even though they look level, they're not. So that's why we use a laser to level the whole railroad. After that, we plug in all the electronics. Then we plug in all the tracks together. We set up the signal system. Once everything is tested and running, then, of course, we have what's called our booster farm, all the electronics that it takes to run this railroad. We set up all of our power supplies around the railroad to make sure we don't have problems. We can run 40, 50 trains at once with no issue whatsoever. It's a lot of fun, and we have a great time doing it. This particular module is called Rapid Set, and it's a cement facility, dry transfer. Cars come in, drop the dry powdered cement, and then the trucks take it over to cement factories around the area. This one is located in Santa Fe Springs, California. That's basically the next town or 2 towns away from Anaheim, where Disneyland is. What happens here is the trains come and drop the cars, they unload, and then they take the empty cars away and put more fresh ones in. The trucks take them away. On this particular module, it's a single track, so it's 24 inches wide. But you can see it's 24 inches wide here, but it expands out to facilitate the buildings and everything else. As long as you're meeting the standards for FreeMo at each end, which is here and at the other end of 24 inches, then in the middle you can do whatever you want. In addition, FreeMo does not restrict you from the size in terms of length. Only the width is determined. The length can be any size or any length you want. You're only limited by what you can transport, obviously. You need a trailer, truck, or whatever that may be. So there is no limitation on length. In many cases, modules come in sets where you have 2 or 3 pieces to hook together to make one larger module. That's often the case. On the other side of the Rapid Set module, we have a facility called Ganahl Lumber. It's a real facility in Southern California. They have 14 or 15 lumber yards, and several of them have rail service inside the yard. As a matter of fact, I showed it to Mark Ganahl, who is 5th generation president of the company, and he looked at it. He couldn't tell where I took the picture, and when I told him it was a model and showed him another picture of it, he was like, "That's very cool." He says, "I want to see it," and he didn't believe it was a model at first. So it's a real facility. I had to hand make all the racks and the lumber, but it's a module that we designed for switching, where we can run cars in and out of here, as well as the Rapid Set facility, which is also based on the same number of tracks as the real facility. I'm really lucky and fortunate to have 1/3 place with this module, considering there's several hundred modules at the show this weekend. This is Chicago Union Station. As you can see, it's a recreation of what they have in Chicago, the city above the station itself. There are 6 tracks in there representing the Chicago station, and the city above is a combination of buildings from many manufacturers. Some of it is scratch-built as well. I've scratch-built this station facility. If you'll notice, there's lights on everything. Inside the station itself, the platform is 12 feet long, will hold a long train, and in addition to that, there's 300 LEDs inside the station that light everything up so everybody can see the trains going through. As we move down from Roosevelt Road, all of these streets are named after the real streets in Chicago. We move forward down here to Monroe Street. We have row houses here, which is typical of a big city. As a matter of fact, down this alley, there's a barbecue going on in the backyard. As we move forward, we have the fire station here, lit up, of course. And if you're able to see inside the station, you can see all the people in there waiting to catch the train. The stairs, of course, coming down from the main station. In addition to taxis, of course, and light rail, which exists for many, many years in Chicago. The Greyhound bus station with people inside waiting, across from the Ambassador Hotel, and we have also a construction site. This is going to be a big office building when it's finished. As we come down here to Van Buren Street, we have another hotel as well as retail stores. And then on down here, you can see a bank and the U.S. Post Office. From the other side, the whole system looks completely different. from this cold storage facility and the post office, there's elevators that go down to the platform. That is so that they can service the commissary cars or the diners, and on the other side they can service the RPOs or the postal cars.
Hi, my name's Bob Berger, and I'm going to tell you about our FreeMo module today. I'm going to tell you a little bit about myself first. I'm 68 years old. I've been a model railroader since I was in second grade. Still love the hobby. I'm also a retired railroad employee. I worked for several railroads for 42 years, and I'm keying into a little bit about why I'm telling you about my background. This particular model is an actual location on the ex-Santa Fe, now BNSF Railroad in the Santa Fe, New Mexico area. And it's a place that myself and another fellow that helped me build this used to travel through on Amtrak 3 and 4. It's called Apache Canyon, and it's located right near Santa Fe. I'd like to tell you a little bit about the technique we used. We went out to the actual location and collected the actual soil that we used in the module. Then we made some little model boards, glued the soil down. Some of you know that it turns darker when you glue it down, and we worked against that. We used the Bragdon foam system for the rock castings. Then we started painting the rock castings with acrylic paints, and then we sprinkled the actual dirt on to get the effect. A really neat feature of Apache Canyon is the spider bridge. It's a one-of-a-kind. It dates back a long time. It's very unique, and even on the Santa Fe Railroad track chart, they refer to it as, quote, the spider bridge.
Hi, I'm Larry Sasslaw from Bakersfield, California. I model the Southern Pacific, grew up on the SP riding between Oakland and Portland, and my inspiration for building the Oakland Mole was to be able to create what was the peak of Southern Pacific passenger service in the 1950s. So this is the Oakland Mole. It was the ferry connection between San Francisco and Oakland. Any train heading north to Portland, east to Ogden and everything east of there, or south through the San Joaquin Valley, all originated in the Oakland Mole, which is the interface between the ferry system and the SP rail lines. The building is started as a Walthers train shed with a flat roof, and I figured out how I could modify that superstructure to create the mole with its arched roofs. Everything was done from just books and photographs, and thanks to all those railroad historians who provided all of the information that we modelers have today. The construction was strip wood and scribe siding. I created some jigs to be able to cut all the windows on the sides of the mole using the photographs. It's a representation. It's not a historic, accurate museum quality, but I'm getting a lot of appreciation from people here at the show on being able to see something this size of a passenger station that represents what was, the heart of the Southern Pacific on the West Coast. One of the inspirations for me to be able to build this scene and this module was this Larry Fisher painting of the Oakland Mole in 1955. And several times we've been able to put the train sets together to recreate this scene. Thanks to Coach Yard for producing all of those fantastic passenger trains of the Southern Pacific. Thanks, Fred, very much. But that was my inspiration, to be able to create that 1955 look across the bay with the Southern Pacific, their crack, beautiful trains ready to go to work out of the Oakland Mole. So one of the real challenges of a modular FreeMo layout is having to move it as many as 600-800 miles and having things arrive in good condition and being able to operate and work. So over the years, the FreeMo modelers from the CenCal and Central Coast groups have figured out how to crate our modules, get them here in good shape, and so that everything operates as best as it can once we arrive. So also with something, like the mole, you have to be able to get to your tracks and clean it. So removing the roofs, removing the superstructure and the sheds in order to be able to clean track and make sure the trains operate properly is a real challenge. And so far working so well.
I'm Dave Clark from Southern California. I'm one of the newest members of the FreeMo group here. My son and I joined about 2.5 years ago. We were invited at one of the shows like this to come out and join them and see how the whole thing works. And we got involved with setups and running trains and stuff. And we really liked it. So my son and I decided to go ahead and build modules. We got with the group and figured out what they were lacking and decided to build a yard. So we got together with some of the guys and they pointed us in the right direction on how to get started. And we went from there. We went from building the first module, and once they showed us how everything goes, then it went from that one to the next one to the next one, and then it kind of morphed us into this major thing. But different guys in the group have different specialties. We have guys that are electrical, we have guys that are scenery, we have guys that are construction. So those construction guys came out, showed me where to start, how to get it all going, and we built the first module with a lot of help, and then once we figured it out, then it was just a matter of duplicating it and start making the rest of the modules. And we do it at our own pace. It's not like we have a time frame and everything has to be done right away. We just move along at a nice, even pace because we both have full-time jobs and we can't spend full time doing this. And we come out to the shows about 3 or 4 times a year, and my whole family comes out, and we have a lot of fun with it.
Well, thank you guys for watching, and I hope you enjoyed the layout tour for the 20th anniversary FreeMo Layout.